Welcome to the Road to Redemption podcast with your host, Cam Williamson. Each week, Cam sets out to shatter the labels and stigmas associated with mental health awareness by giving life lessons and raw overviews of events happening around the world.
Okie dokie artichokes, what is up? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm as always your grateful host, Cam Williamson. Flip my hat around here. Good to see you guys. We are back, day 16. Hey, go ahead right out the gate. Knock that like button out the way so it turns fun colors as they make it do now. The subscribe button, if it's red, that's annoying. Get that out of the way. Click that. It'll turn gray. And then you can hit the little bell right beside that. Since you're 1-2, everyone likes the 1-2-3 hat trick. Hit the bell. It'll say all or personalized. You can figure out that one for yourself. But today we're talking day 16, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. Do you guys want to be mad for me? Or should I just be mad for all of us? Because she starts off out the gate just being a gaslighting motherfucking asshole. Elaine starts by trying to go, hey, we made some mistakes last week, right? You said some things that weren't true. You said some dates that made you look bad. Let's clear that up real quick, so that way we can kind of impeach our own client right out the gate. She goes, oh, this didn't actually happen on this day when you said it did it? Because that wouldn't make any sense. It happened on this day, huh? That's how they started the day. Monday morning with the drama. I have so many notes here, I don't even know where to start. I made this, I'm going to talk about this. Her body language, right? So we've made much about Amber Heard and the way that she keeps looking at the jury. Here's one thing I've noticed through life. When I was a child, I hung out with some ruffians or some mischievous cats, right? And I myself was a little mischievous at times. Here's one thing you'll notice about a person when they're lying to try to get themselves out of trouble. I've always seen this one characteristic. They'll look at the person they're lying to when they're saying something that they need you to believe, right? But they don't think you're buying it. They turn into this slouch position where they go, and she keeps doing that. When he hit me, and it's kind of like, I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't care if you believe me. And she keeps saying that. I know this is hard to believe. I know this is hard to believe. This is so embarrassing. This is hard to believe. Yeah, Amber, it's hard to believe because we've seen the evidence that says what you're saying is not believable. I'm so lost, right? They clearly said, the judge says this at the end of every court day or before they go on recess, you are not to talk about your testimony. They so clearly talked about her testimony. Elaine clearly told her, you fucked up bad, we got to fix this, which, let's be honest, we all know that people are doing this. We've said that through the Rittenhouse trial and through this one when they're like, yeah, okay, these guys aren't going home watching everything because Elaine's literally now Elaine's allowed to watch stuff. She's a part of the defense counsel. But they're literally taking everything the media has been saying over the last 10-day break and going, hey, let's get this out of the way as best we can, which they're not doing a good job at it at all. Counselor Vasquez is still crushing them. They had to battle hard to even get here, but they're talking about when was the first time Johnny Depp actually inflicted violence against you? And Counselor Vasquez goes, objection, asked and answered, objection, bang, 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 bang. And it takes them a minute. Elaine and Counselor Vasquez go through kind of a tick for tack for about 10 minutes. I mean, they approach the bench once or twice before they actually get into solid, a groove of questioning. So that was interesting. But on one of those occasions, they asked Amber they presented these pictures of Amber on the red carpet, and she had some scrapes down her arm. And she was saying that those were from the Australia incident where she was cut up real bad by glass and she was sexually assaulted by Johnny with a bottle. And she had 3 cuts. Well, they were scars. They were fully scars on her arm. So right there, the day after, it's not going to be a full scar. It's going to be an open wound that you would have to cover with like a a long sleeve or something would have been the best way to do that. And then they get into, right before lunch, and I'm going to kind of bounce around because it is hard to track. They bounce around a lot. Right before lunch, they're talking about Amber Heard's makeup routine. And she has the pack that, Elaine stupidly held up and said, this is the Arnica cream, when it's really called Arnica cream or whatever. And this is the palette that she used, and that palette hadn't been done yet. And Amber Heard, the company that makes that palette, they came out and said, hey, we didn't make that till 2017. So there's no way Amber Heard wore that in 2013. So today she holds it up and she goes, well, this isn't the exact one I used, and just kind of brushed right over it. It's like, yeah, Why did Elaine hand that to you? And she said, this is the one I held up in opening statements, and goes, here, I'm going to hand this to Amber. And then Amber holds it up and goes, well, the day after a bruise is usually more red. So if it's red, you want to counteract it with a green. And she's using this physical palette as a display, as if she had really covered these bruises with this. They showed some pictures of Amber Heard where she's got some redness under her eyes. Johnny Depp said, as soon, the very first time these pictures were referenced, Johnny Depp looks at Ben Chu and goes, Botox. I'm not going to be able to find the clip, and I'm not going to waste the time trying to find it, but I'm telling you it's there. And if you look at her face, where the redness is, that is the same place that her cheekbones have been filled out and painted to look like bruises this entire time that I've been screaming about this whole court case. That is what those marks are from. It is a small needle that goes right into the inside of their cheekbone that fills filler in there, which is why you see her cheekbones are so filled up. And then it's a little red and it's swollen and shit. You just injected something. You just had a shot in the face. So again, that's what those are from. Another image they showed was supposed bruising up and around her temple. Claims that Johnny Depp threw a phone at her, and that was on the right side of her face. And the whole time she's telling the story in court, she's pointing to the left side of her face. And she shows two pictures of the right side of her face. One picture, there's literally nothing but just a little bit of redness that you could have done by just like going like this for a minute. Like, guys, how many people have done shit like this and then walked into places going, yeah, you can get some good redness going just by redness and swelling. Amber Heard claimed that Johnny Depp had her, first off, up by the throat on the wall like he's a goddamn superhero. Johnny Depp is a small, kind of frail guy. He's not a bodybuilder, right? Like, guys, I'm 6 foot, about 155 pounds. My wife is 5'4", 115, 120. If she's really, really, eating a lot recently, she's a small woman. So for me, if I was even to try to pick my wife up by the neck and hold her up in the air, I'm not going to be able to do that. I don't have superhuman strength to pick up a whole human being by their neck, like with them fighting and doing all this. Have you ever tried to pick up a child, just a kid, off the ground and they're fucking squirming and doing all this shit? It's insanely hard to hold on to somebody. Let alone if you've got them one-handed, fucking, what's that Thanos style where it's like, you're gonna listen to what I say. And it's like, what are we doing here? Like, a part of being psycho is you believe your own bullshit, but like, you have to even not make it so insane that you can believe it. We're talking about Johnny Depp. We're not talking about like Chris Hemsworth. We're not talking about like some guy that's known to be this rough, tough, brooding guy who just comes in with all this. And it's not like he's on angel dust, for God's sakes. It's not like he gets this weird crackhead strength out of nowhere. So all these crazy, elaborate stories that we've been hearing, there's just, and liars do this a lot, but usually good liars don't do it to this point where it exposes them so much. She uses the word retreat a lot. She went back once that I noticed to actually purposefully use it. So she goes like, I walked out of the hall, or I walked down the hallway to, get some space. And she goes, I retreated down the hallway to get some space. One of the first things I was taught when I was going through military police school was articulation. You're going to have to articulate everything you do. One of the big words that they teach you to use is the word retreat. If you ever are moving backwards, if you're ever moving away from a threat or a subject, you are to articulate the word retreat. Why? To retreat means you are no longer a threat. I'm retreating. I'm not pursuing you. I'm not putting anything up towards you. I'm not displaying any threat towards you. I'm retreating. What does this mean? You cannot attack me now. It's an important word. If you said I went down the hallway, well, that leaves a lot to be implied. Why did you go down the hallway? What was at the end of that hallway? Could you have grabbed something and hurt me with it? There's a lot there. But for her to say I was retreating says that there was a threat there. I retreated this way, surrendering myself from the threat and saying I'm not a threat to you. All these things become implied when we start using certain words. We talked about this when the police officers testified, and it's super important now. She's learning tricks that her lawyers are using against police officers. She's getting a kind of a skill level 0 fucking level class in, articulation and why it's super important. And narcissists are very good at this because they use it when they argue. Well, yeah, you said this, but you meant that. And someone will go, no, I said what I said. You're taking what I said and you're flipping it. Oh, so what you mean is you said that. So when you said this, you really meant that. And you're like, no, I was clearly kidding there or something like that. Well, now you're Mr. Technical. And they try to take this thing and they just start spinning. And they just start spinning because they know at some point if they spin long enough, you're going to get too fucking dizzy to be able to pay attention. You can't hold on to all this. And that's kind of what Amber Heard's team, Elaine and Rottenborn, have been doing this whole time. They're spinning timelines. They're spinning narratives. They're just spinning shit everywhere just to see what's going to stick. It's really all they got at this point. We talked about holding her up by the neck, repeated punches to the head. Guys, yeah, I'm a big MMA fan. I'm a huge MMA fan. I trained MMA for years. I fought once. I watch it every weekend. It's a big part of my life. I can tell you right now, if Johnny Depp had Amber Heard either on the ground and he had mounted her or even had her up against a wall and she's covering like you would see a fighter do right towards the end of a fight, right before the ref calls a fight, and they're just covered up. Even if she's covered like this with a half-decent guard guarding her head up and he's over top of her just raining hell down on top of her, your shit is going to be so lumped up and busted up, especially that's with gloves on. If Johnny Depp is doing that with rings on his finger, he's going to break his own hands. If you're raw dog punching someone on the top of their fucking skull as hard as they can, multiple times over with rings on your own finger, that's going to gash her head up so bad, on top of the hematomas from not only the ring, but just the straight blunt force of that. Again, how crazy of a narrative are you going to try to paint to the point where absolutely nobody would believe it? They can't believe it. You have to give people something to believe in, and right now she's giving nobody anything except the haters. And then, let's get to the haters. Your team already viciously goes after the police force. Not a good call on my point, but your game, your play call. Today, the Amber Heard defense team go ahead and pisses off nurses. Now, let me tell you something. If there's one group that in the world I would not want to piss off, food staff is number one. Medical staff and the people that are going to take care of you potentially ever in any state you could ever be in, that's going to be a close one. Tied right up there for first, because I hope I don't ever have to encounter those people. I hope I'm healthy, but if I do not want to be the face of going, nurses are fucking liars. And a nurse that is paid privately to be at my beck and call at all times, who only has, interest in my well-being, wrote these notes that are not damning to me in any way, but only says I have bipolar disorder and, attachment issues. And Amber Heard goes, I never said that. That nurse lied. And immediately, nurses all over the world going, this bitch, calling us liars when we have no reason to lie. And everyone takes it very personal. Nurses start I would nevering all over the place. Rightfully, they should. A nurse's notes are sacred. A nurse's notes are legally binding. A nurse's notes are very, very important. And again, a nurse's notes are unbiased. She has no reason to lie. So if Amber Heard told her that she was bipolar, and she documented that in the notes, the nurse gains nothing from documenting that when it wasn't presented to her. So again, Amber Heard is just stretching to lie about things that we've already seen, just so she can lie about it. There's not even a benefit for Amber Heard to not be seen as bipolar at this point. I think if Amber Heard said, yes, I think I actually do struggle with borderline personality disorder and a little bipolar disorder, and I think because of my come up, I may be having some PTSD symptoms, and some of these attachment styles that I formed are pretty toxic, and all these things are times in my life that I really regret, and I'm not happy with any of this. That could be a big difference than what she's currently seeing, but her trying to double down on everything and act like none of it is coming from a place of mental unhealthiness or mental instability at all, it's wrong. And honestly, she's trying to further labels and stigmas of mental health struggles. Like, well, I would never have bipolar disorder. It's not a bad thing to have. I'm BP1, manic depressive. It's not a bad thing to have. It makes life difficult sometimes, but again, through accepting it is always the first step. Like, you want Johnny Depp to accept that he has an alcohol and a cocaine issue, and I think he has some things he might have to address there. But you know well that acceptance is the first part to addressing any issue. So trying to weaponize something that I fully believe, Amber Heard, had no issue walking around telling people, oh, yeah, I'm bipolar, and that's why I act this way. I've known plenty of people that do that, and we've talked about those people on this show quite a bit because I fucking hate it. I don't like it when people try to do things like, yeah, I'm such a bitch, and I'm bipolar, and they try to use bipolar disorder as an excuse or as a get-out-of-jail-free card for them being a fucking asshole all the time. And that's not the way it works. Just like if you have severe PTSD, that doesn't excuse you to be a fucking dickhead to your family all the time. You have to figure the shit out. So, again, we talked about the fucking slouch. I hate that slouch. Then it literally puts a furious fire inside my body when I watch her go. And then I asked him, why did you hit me? First off, bitch, you don't ask people why they just hit you. You wouldn't do that. Did you just hit me? What was the old Cat Williams? Or was it Cat Williams, or was it on Friday, or what was it? He goes, no, it was Kevin Hart. He was saying his dad was getting his ass beat by one dude, and his dad got up like, did they jump me? How many of them was there? And he goes, no, it was just him. It was just him and you got your ass beat. It was like, you're not making any of this better with all this wild embellishing that you're doing. Did you really just hit me? Fuck, if that was the case, if somebody just hit you and you were like, did you really just do that? You would be pretty much asking them, hey, are you about to do that again? Get out of the way. I'm not saying fight, flight, or now freeze is what they're saying. Fight or flight response is not where it stops. There's also a response called freeze, where you could freeze and be like, what the hell just happened? But you're not going to ask them, did you really just punch me? That would be internal dialogue that's going on there. Because it wouldn't make any fucking sense to ask them. You would know very well by the tingling and the stinging and the burning of your face that you just got walloped, and something inside of you would be happening to either cover up so you don't get hit again. If you freeze like a deer, I don't know. Maybe you faint like a goat. I don't know. A lot of things could happen in Amber Heard's world, apparently. Here is one part that especially did not go well for Amber Heard. She was quoting Johnny Depp, and she starts yelling, and I'm going to move the mic away. She starts yelling, "Get the fuck up!" And she yelled it like 3 or 4 times. "Get the fuck up!" Every time she did it, she got louder. "Get the fuck up!" And it got more aggressive. To the point where even me, guys, you watch the show, I cuss all the time. It doesn't bother me one bit. You fuck, cunt, shit, I don't care. Say whatever you want. It doesn't bother me. I'm pretty European with my language. I don't care. But something about it when she was yelling, "Get the fuck up!" I was like, yo, that's kind of aggressive. And it made her seem aggressive. It made her, she was so comfortable. You heard it coming out of her mouth, that anger. "Get the fuck up!" And she kind of like put herself in it. I was like, see, there I believe you. That I believe. All that anger, all that pettiness, all that you were just doing there, I believe that. That wasn't acting. The crocodile tears that you tried to shed while you were saying that you loved him so much and you couldn't believe. That was the date she had to correct in the beginning, because what it really showed is that there was really only about 6 months worth of time where they would have been happy, according to her story. And she goes, "Well, I just wanted to believe. I guess I was just so embarrassed. I just wanted to believe that we were happy for longer." No, you were happy the whole time until you decided that this man and his benefits of being no longer benefit you anymore. She's fucking disgusting. This was interesting. So Elaine is trying to fight back against some of these hearsay objections. The hearsay objection has been by far the most popular objection. Most people around the country have now learned what a hearsay objection is. Congratulations to you all for that. Now, Elaine is combating that with, "It's not presented to assert the truth of the matter asserted." So she's saying it is hearsay. It's completely hearsay, but it's not being presented in a way to prove what this witness is saying. It's giving context to the overall situation. She's still losing most of these arguments, Elaine being. So, again, it's not working, but you can tell now that there's this little clause, whether it be in Virginia law, whether it be in, national thing. She found this little clause that she goes, that fucking bitch has been destroying me this whole time. I got to be able to use this. And she's literally reading it like a mantra. "It's not presented to assert the truth in the matter asserted." And the judge will be like, "Yeah, objection sustained. Yeah, no, enough with that." Elaine has gotten quite mouthy with this judge. She keeps arguing in situations where she's clearly lost rulings. I don't know why the judge is putting up with that at all. I really don't. Maybe because this is not a criminal case. Well, let's talk about that too. Amber Heard is now facing criminal charges not for anything Johnny Depp related technically, but because she did smuggle 2 dogs into Australia. And y'all, if you don't know this, Australia does not play that shit. If you've ever heard of Australia, you've probably heard of all the dangerous animals and shit that they have there, and that's not a joke, but they have very, 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 very high levels of protected wildlife there. They don't fuck around with it. So bringing a dog from any other country to that could literally destroy like numbers of protected species, and that they will not have, because that destroys their habitats, obviously, but it also destroys their tourism. If one dog kills an entire population of kangaroos, and it's the only place you can get them, well, what the fuck then? You fucked everybody, Amber Heard. Amber Heard was distinctly told not to do it. She was told not to do it by the personal staff that she had, that she put on the job to get these dogs properly licensed. She was told it's not going to happen. It's going to take too long. That person didn't think she would do the right thing, so they told Johnny Depp, "Hey, make sure she doesn't take the dogs." Guess what? Johnny takes a separate plane. Amber takes another one. Guess who brings the dogs? Amber does. They get there. They stuff them in like a boarding grooming place. Somebody recognizes the dogs, tells the Australian authorities. They take the dogs, put them in a holding thing. Tell Johnny Depp, "You got like right fucking now to get these dogs out of here, or I'm going to kill them." Johnny Depp pays hundreds of thousands of dollars to fly these dogs back to where they came from. Amber Heard lies about the whole thing, says that her assistant didn't tell her she wasn't allowed. Assistant says, yes, the fuck I did. Told you you can't do that. And then Amber Heard admits to it and commits perjury on the stand during this trial. So Australia goes, bang, I want you, bitch. Like Uncle Sam for the army, I want you. So she's facing now 10 years in criminal court for dog trafficking, animal trafficking across foreign lines. So, and apparently they want that ass. They're not playing games with her. So that's for all you people that are not satisfied that Amber Heard may not do jail time for her domestic violence crimes. She might do it for something else. She pointed to the wrong eye. Yeah, we talked about that. And then placed photos. Just to end it off, she showed some photos of the apparent savage beating that she took that involved sexual assault. And it was literally like one big hunk of glass that looked like it had been perfectly laid down in one spot. Another like base of a cup that was like perfect was laying on this rug that had been like perfectly flipped over. And then what was the other thing? There was like a bottle of wine that was fine. And then there was what looked like a very old wine stain on a rug. None of this stuff the police saw or was on the body cam footage at all. So again, Amber Heard staged these photos, just like I believe she staged having the pictures of what her eyes look like after what I believe to be a Botox or a filler injection. So she's a piece of shit. Nothing's changed in 16 days. We still have the afternoon to go. I hope you guys are having a good day. I missed you severely. 10 days is a long time. If you didn't check out some of my skateboarding content, go check that out. I put up a whole video on toxic couples and toxic love in general. Famous couples that, have displayed those qualities that we love so much and why we love toxic love. Check that out. If you want to see some of the merch that I got going on, I'm wearing it all right now. It is what it is. Everything is what it is. Go check it out, roadtoredemptionpodcast.com or madmentaldesigns.com, and I will see you tomorrow for day 17. Love you.